Scattered across this great country are automotive treasures. Collector cars owned by top enthusiasts, rare gems of rich pedigree. We invite them all to come to Autogeek's garage and show off their proudest vehicles, while we get to ask, what's in Autogeek's garage?
Welcome to another episode of What's in Autogeek's Garage. I'm your host, Mike Phillips, and I have a very special episode. I have 4 celebrity guests, starting out with Bill Stevens. How you doing, Bill?
Hey, doing great, Mike. Thanks a lot. And let me introduce you and everybody else to this gentleman. This is Bob Sabatino, the owner of this 1971 SS 454 Chevelle. This is a real SS 454.
This is the original one, Bill. This is the way it came from the factory.
But the engine isn't what came from the factory.
No, unfortunately, through the years of racing and going through the gears, it just let go. So I had to replace it with a GM crate motor.
Now, is that a reworked engine, or is pretty much just the way it came from the factory?
No, that's the way it came from the factory, except for the valve covers. I painted them and sanded them down, polished them up a little bit, and I changed the air cleaner. But basically, it's the original engine, the original GM motor.
Yep, nice dress-up items in there, master cylinder over there, and the heater box, what have you. But how much power do you think the engine's making?
It's rated at about 450 horsepower.
Wow. Now, the original LS6 454 made 450, so you're not giving anything away.
Well, that was the LS6 now, Bill. This was the original 390.
All right,
so
that's our dirty little secret, all right, Bob?
Okay, that sounds good to me.
That looks like a polyurethane paint job, but it also looks like an original GM color. Is there a story behind that?
Yes, there is. When I purchased the car, it was this color, and I wanted to keep it that way. And I did a little research, and I found out that the car never was painted any other color but that color. When I got it home, I took the door panels off and found out that that was the original color. The door panel's never been off the car. It had the original vapor paper. So I called a friend of mine that has a body shop. He called PPG, and they called GM. Got the original paint code, and this is the end product here.
Looks great. You mentioned going through the gears, and it's a 4-speed car with a 454 and one of the all-time great muscle cars. So I get the feeling that you don't really putter around in this. You really like to get it on.
Back when I was a kid, 40 years later, I'm doing the same thing, and I'm enjoying every minute of it.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Well, appearance-wise, the automobile has very little to squawk about, but let's check in with Mike Phillips, because I think he has an issue with your wheels.
Okay.
Bob, your car looks great, but one of the things I noticed was the wheels and tires getting a little dirty. I see some brake dust. I'm going to show you some cool tools to really get these clean and make it easy on you.
I'd appreciate that.
The first one is called the Daytona Speedmaster Wheel Brush. Now, this is what's really cool. This thing's flexible, okay? So you can bend this to get in here and get in behind the spokes and really get these wheels clean. It's got a rubber safety tip on here, so you're not going to ever scratch any custom wheel, especially a clear-coated wheel. And it's got a knuckle guard in here, and it's going to protect your hand from ever getting scratched up. It's a great tool. You need to have one of these. Another tool I got here, this is the lug nut cleaner. Now, if you look down here, you got a set of chrome wheels. You got these beautiful chrome acorn lug nuts. This fits just right on there. Do a little scrubbing, gets all the dirt off, makes it real fast and easy. Now, to get these clean, I'm going to use the Detailer's Pro Series wheel cleaner. Now, this is non-acid, and that's important if you got like a polished metal wheel or a clear coat wheel. You don't want to stain it. For chrome, it's completely safe. The cool thing is you can also use this on the tire. Let's come down here. I'm going to spray this. Really drench it down here to loosen up that brake rust and road grime. Then after that, take the Speedmaster Wheel Brush, come down here, get behind the spokes. And then for the face of the wheel, I got a boar's hair wheel cleaning brush. Now this is really soft, and this is important because if you've got expensive wheels, the last thing you want to do is scratch them. So you come down here, agitate the face of the wheels, loosen up all that brake dust, road grime, get around the valve stem there. And then I've got a utility green brush here. This is for the tire. You've got white letters here, so we're going to come down here and scrub these and get these all white again. And now we're ready to rinse it off. Just take and blast the spray water. And that makes quick work of cleaning dirty wheels.
Oh, that took about 2 minutes.
And it looks brand new.
Hey, we're going to be right back, so stay tuned.
What's in Autogeek's Garage is being brought to you by Meguiar's car care product since 1901, by Lake Country, pioneering manufacturers of buffing and polishing products sold worldwide, and by Menzerna, the world's finest polishing materials.
What do the following award-winning car designers and builders have in common? Chip Foose, Brian Fuller, Alan Johnson, Justin Padfield, Mark Stilo, Steve Strope, Denny Terzic, Troy Trepanier. They all depend on ARP fasteners. Leading car builders depend on ARP fasteners, and so should you. ARP, the world leader in fastener technology.
The best looking cars on the road deserve only the best when it comes to car care. Pinnacle Natural Brilliance.
Pinnacle Sovereign Paste Wax is all natural. It uses ivory carnauba wax to create a sizzling shine.
Pinnacle literally has a product for every square inch of your car. For more information about the entire line of Pinnacle products and for some valuable tips and techniques, check out pinnaclewax.com or autogeek.net.
Welcome back to What's in Autogeek's Garage. I told you for this episode I was going to have 4 special celebrity guests, and back with me this time is Tommy Johnson Jr. How are we doing over there, Tommy?
Well, good. I'm standing here talking to Jeff Dexheimer, and he's telling me this is his everyday driver. It's 2007 Ford Mustang, and I'm telling you, it's a sharp-looking everyday driver. What prompted you to get a Mustang? This is good-looking to drive to work.
Well, I've always liked these cars ever since I was a kid, and they reintroduced the car in 2005, and a year after that, I just had to have one. And I've had it ever since. I drive this every day.
Well, what's under the hood? I mean, it's a sleek-looking car, looks fast. What we got underneath the hood of this thing?
Well, it's the 4-liter 6. And
V6?
Yes, the V6.
Wow, I would have never guessed that from the outside. Have you done any modifications to it, exhaust, to tune it up? I mean, you got to tune it up a little bit, don't you?
Just a little bit I did. I did the exhaust. I changed that to duals. Actually, it's the bullet exhaust I got from Ford. And I changed the intake, and I changed the tune, and it makes it a little more spirited to drive. Actually, it's quite a lot of fun for what they gave you stock.
Now, this is your everyday driver.
Yeah, it's
correct. Do you have a weekend car?
Matter of fact, they do.
What's your weekend car? We need to know that.
Well, it's another Mustang.
Oh, Mustang, of course.
Except that one's a GT.
A GT. Now that's what I'm talking about. GT. That's what kind of engine's the GT got?
Well, that one is the V8. That's the 300 horsepower version, 2006. And it's a convertible, so that's always a lot of fun down here in South Florida.
Now you seem to be a Ford guy, but I think I heard him say there's a Chevy in the garage as well.
Well, I have to admit, yes, there is. It's an El Camino. It's parked right next to that Mustang GT.
I'm telling you, this guy's got a garage full of cars, and this is his everyday driver. Well, Mike, what can you do to spiff up this everyday driver?
Well, you know, Jeff takes pretty good care of this. I mean, it looks good. But what I'd like to share with the audience today is a brand new interchangeable backing plate system just introduced by Lake Country. Now, the tool is a Flex 3401 forced rotation dual action polisher. And this is a really popular tool because you can do a lot of correction work, or you can just do machine waxing with it. Takes all the work out of it. You can't burn the paint, you can't put swirls in. But one of the limits in the past has been the factory backing plate. There's only a 5-inch backing plate, so you're kind of limited to the types of pads you could use. So Lake Country just introduced an interchangeable backing plate system that includes this adapter, and what this adapter does is it attaches right here to the drive unit, but it allows you to go between a 6-inch backing plate or down here to a 4-inch backing plate. And I got to tell you, this is what's really cool because a lot of guys love this tool, but they've never been able to use small foam pads to get into these smaller areas before. So I've got one already set up here. This is a 4-inch pad on a Flex 3401. I'm going to take and put a little bit of polish on here, and I'll show you what I mean by being able to get into the tight areas. A lot of times when you're buffing, a large pad is going to be too big. You're going to be buffing on a body line or bumping into things. Over here, I'm going to be creaming out this plastic trim here. by switching over to a small pad, I can get in here and work safely. Without ever buffing onto the glass or, like I said, the plastic trim. Watch this as I get up around here between this thin panel between the top of the door and the door handle. So this new backing plate adapter system and this new 4-inch pad makes a tool that's wonderful already, a lot more versatile. Well, thank you, Tommy, for stopping by. And stay tuned for my next celebrity guest.
Matt Steele here for Diamondite. You know, over time, contaminants are going to build up on your vehicle's glass, impairing your visibility. Diamondite is specifically designed to restore optical clarity in 3 simple steps. The foaming cleaner cleans the glass. The kaolin spray clay actually removes the water spots and the contaminants and makes it crystal clear. Then the shield goes on and seals the deal. If you'd like to purchase the Diamondite glass cleaning and protection system, visit Autogeek.net or other authorized dealers.
Whether you're an automotive enthusiast, professional detailer, or body shop technician, the secret to the perfect shine is machine polishing with Lake Country pads. The key to a flawless show car finish is matching the right pad to the job, and Lake Country has a pad for every detailing project. Lake Country is the industry leader in product development with over 60 years of hands-on detailing experience. When you're ready to machine polish, buy the best Lake Country pads. Mike Phillips here. I've been buffing out cars all my life and teaching classes on machine polishing paint since 1988. And out of all the polishes I've ever used, I've never found anything that outperforms Menzerna polishes for a true show car finish. Made in Germany since 1888, Menzerna offers a complete line of compounds, medium cut, fine cut, and ultra fine cut polishes to create a high gloss finish just like you see here. Check out MenzernaUSA.com. Flex power tools are German engineered specifically for polishing paint. The Flex 3401 is a forced rotation, dual action polisher that won't inflict swirls into the paint because the pad rotates and oscillates at the same time. The Flex PE14 rotary buffer weighs only 5 pounds, but has all the power of a full-size rotary buffer. Its compact size and lightweight reduces fatigue and makes it perfect for all your machine polishing projects. Visit FlexNorthAmerica.com.
It's time now for Off the Shelf. Quick tips on detailing your car with Mike Phillips. And brought to you by Meguiar's Car Care Products.
This week's email comes from Jerry down in Texas. Jerry writes in, Mike, I have a detailing business that's doing really well, but the compounds and polishes I currently use are hard to work with, and I'm never able to get the kind of show car results I see other detailers getting. Aren't all compounds and polishes the same? Why, no, Jerry, they're not. A few years ago, Meguiar's introduced 2 cutting-edge products. One is called M105 Ultra Cut Compound, the other is the M205 Ultra Finishing Polish. And what makes these unique is the abrasive technology they use. They use what we call super micro abrasive technology. The abrasives are so small that if you were to pour some of this out in your hand, it would feel like hand lotion. Now, the products are also very versatile because you can use it with a rotary buffer, a DA polisher, or you can even apply them by hand. And what's really nice about the Ultra Cut Compound is it's so aggressive. In a body shop situation, you could take and remove down to 1,200 grit sanding marks, or you could just use it to remove serious defects like we saw in this Mustang with all the swirls if you're a detailer or just a serious enthusiast trying to take care of their own car. The cool thing about the Ultra Cut Compound is not only is it an aggressive compound, but it finishes out like a polish. So you're almost where you want to be, but then you come back with the M205, refine those results, and there you go. You've got a show car finish. With that all said, it's time for me to get to work. Okay. Welcome back to What's in Autogeek's Garage. I have with me here Ken Miner. How you doing, Ken?
Good, Mike. How are you?
And Ken owns this old 2-door Chevy. I also told you I was going to have some celebrity guests on this show. I have with me Ted Jones, a member of the Drag Racing Hall of Fame. How you doing, Ted?
Hey, thanks for letting me come back on your show.
Pleasure to have you.
You always have these gorgeous cars.
Yeah.
And this is a two-door Chevy.
Yeah.
Corvette, folks, let's face it. This
left
is the
that part
elite
out.
of the line. Yeah, just a minor detail there. Okay. Now, this is a 72 Corvette Stingray. They called it the Stingray because the Stingrays were really the 63, 4, 5, 6, 7 era. A lot of people nickname these the Mako Shark. You ever heard that terminology before? Well, that's because General Motors had a concept car that looked a lot like this that was called the Mako Shark. So when they came out with this particular body style, a lot of people nickname them the Mako Shark, so you can kind of tell the difference between the different generations. This is a factory 4-speed. What engine you got here?
350 LT1.
Oh, the LT1, yeah,
Yes,
which
sir.
is a very desirable 350 engine. He's got the rally wheels on it. Nice looking car. And one of the neat little touches they put on these that was an option was the luggage rack back here.
Yep.
You don't have a lot of space. By the way, the convertible top hides under this. This raises up. You bring the convertible top up, you slam this down, then it buckles in here, kind of like the old 66 Corvette and what have you. But then there's luggage space down there, some storage compartments. A lot of people felt like it's not enough. So they came up with a luggage rack, which nobody uses.
Yeah.
It's more of a decoration. Have you ever used this?
No, sir, I have not.
It's a decoration. It's a pretty, which adds to the car. Looks like he's put an aftermarket radio in there that fit in the exact space.
Yes, sir, it did.
Yeah, I like that. That's a nice touch, and that way he's up to date on that. So, that being said, what can you do for this beautiful Corvette two-door Chevy?
This old two-door Chevy, yeah. Well, you know what? When you look at it underneath these lights, it looks pretty good, doesn't it?
I think so. I've did a lot of work to it.
Do you see any swirls?
No, sir, I do not.
But you know what I got here? We call this, it's called the Brinkmann Swirl Finder Light, but we also call it the Cruel Master because it's hard to please. I want you to come down here. The way you use this, hold it about a foot off the finish. Now what do you see?
Oh, man.
You got some swirls, huh?
Yeah.
Now earlier you told me you do all your work by hand, right?
Yes, I do.
The problem with working by hand is usually you're holding a wax pad like this, you're sandwiched between your thumb and your fingers, and you're putting all the pressure down on just the fingertips of your hand. That's uneven pressure, and although you've done a really good job, a better way to really get that show car finish is to work by machine. Now, when you're working by machine, you told me you're kind of worried because you didn't want to grind through the paint.
Yeah, all the sharp lines of the car, I was worried that would burn through on it, so I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, and a lot of guys use heavy compounds. What I want to show you is a product from Menzerna, and Menzerna USA is a product that's used in a lot of the assembly lines to create that brand new showroom look on a brand new car.
Good.
What I have over here is their SF4000. Now this is a really fine cut polish, but it's aggressive enough to pull out these fine swirls, but then leave it totally flawless and ready to put a coat of wax on. Now there's no protection in this because this is like a body shop tool, so you need to put a coat of wax on, but it is the right product to come back down over here and go ahead and pull these swirls out.
Oh,
now,
fantastic.
since you've never machined polish, I'm going to start this and then I'm going to let you take over and I'll show you how easy this is.
Okay, Mike.
And this has a lot of polishing oil, so what this is going to do is going to let this just glide over the surface. It's not going to be hard at all. Okay, we'll put some of this on there. And when you're doing this, you're always going to put the cord over your shoulder so you don't drag this up against the paint like that.
That's a good idea.
Okay. Okay, now tell me if this looks hard. Does that look
Doesn't look
hard?
hard at all, no.
Okay, what I want you to do is I want you to try now.
All right, Mike.
Okay. Cord over shoulder, slide down there. I think you'll find that this polish, it just glides over the paint.
That is really easy.
It's a lot easier than working by hand, huh?
Oh, it's much faster. Look at that.
Yeah, now this uses diminishing abrasives, so as you work this polish, it's going to remove the swirls and scratches. It's going to polish itself out so it's totally crystal clear. Now, once you go ahead and shut it off, let's wipe it off. Tell you what, we'll shut the polisher down.
Okay, Mike.
And grab that swirl finder light. Now come over and check this out. Now when you use this, you hold it about a foot over the paint, just like that. Turn it on.
Wow.
Where are the swirls?
That's a big, big difference.
It's a huge difference.
I gotta buy some of that.
Yeah, well, I know a place where you can get it. Well, that's it for this segment, but we'll be right back.
I like this right here. Can I have it?
You can have
Mine now.
What's in Autogeek's Garage is being brought to you by Flex, the original, by Grit Guard, What's in Your Bucket, and by Pinnacle, Science and Nature in Harmony.
Blackfire Car Care products are proudly made in the USA and offer a complete line of interior and exterior products to clean, condition, polish, and protect every inch of your car from top to bottom. Blackfire products are formulated using state-of-the-art polymer technology for ease of use and superior performance. Blackfire compounds, polishes, and waxes are famous for creating that deep, wet shine that everyone loves. Don't just turn heads, create whiplash. Visit autopiacarcare.com.
For a lot of us, the automobile is the second biggest investment that we make. Now, one of the best ways to protect this investment is with the entire line of Wolfgang Car Care products.
Wolfgang Fusion uses German-engineered super polymers blended with ivory carnauba wax for long-lasting protection with a three-dimensional crystal-like shine.
For more information about the entire line of Wolfgang Car Care products and time-saving tips and techniques, check out wolfgangcarcare.com or autogeek.net.
Amazing results, even in full sun. Now go have fun.
Welcome back to What's in Autogeek's Garage. My celebrity guest for this segment is Frank Hawley of Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. Does this bring back any memories, Frank?
Boy, I'll tell you, Mike, I had a blown alcohol altered back in the 1980s that had a 23 T-body. And whenever I see these cars, I think about early drag racing because the T-body was a very popular style, and Willie Borsch and the AA fuel altereds, and it's absolutely amazing. Now, this car isn't quite as powerful as the fuel altereds, but it still looks like it has a pretty snappy power plant. Now, Debbie Koliniski, come on in here. This is your vehicle, and I've got some questions about it because where'd you get this car from?
Sanford, Florida.
And how long have you had it in your family?
It'll be a year in March.
Yeah, and do you guys get out there and drive it around a lot?
Every weekend.
Okay, now the engine here, we've got double carburetors on it. Do you have any idea how much horsepower this thing makes?
We've had a guesstimate at about 425, but we're not sure. We have not had it tested.
A guess at how much the car weighs?
1,820 pounds.
So an 1,800 pound car, if that was a race car, an 1,800 pound, there aren't very many 1,800 pound race cars. No. So if you put over 400 horsepower in with that little weight, it's going to be pretty fast. You guys don't get any traffic tickets with this thing, do you?
No, sir.
No? Well, that's a good thing. You know, I'm sitting here looking at the interior, and do you guys get hit by bugs or something? It's got to be incredibly windy riding down the road in this thing.
It can be hazardous, yes.
Anyway, as I'm looking at the car, Mike, there's like not much paint on here, and I know we've been talking about paint a lot. What do you got in mind for this vehicle?
Well, you know, one of the things I want to show is how to machine clean glass. Now, a lot of times when your car is a daily driver, or even like a weekend car like this, you get the bug splatter on there, it builds up, you get road film that builds up, and a normal spray and glass cleaner isn't going to go in there and actually get that film off, okay? So there's a way to machine clean this. So the first thing I want to do is I just want to show, this is the Diamondite Glassworks System kit for machine application. Now you can also get this to work by hand if you wanted to, but I'm kind of a machine guy. But the first thing you want to do is just come in here and clean off all the loose surface dirt, okay, using the Perfect Vision glass cleaner, just like that. This is kind of neat. I can actually reach all the way across here. You know, this was the first car I owned when I was 15. It was a Model T T-Bucket.
Did yours look as nice as this one?
No, it never looked quite as nice as this one.
How'd it run?
I never got it running, but that was but at least I tried at the age 15. I actually hooked a rope up to it, and me and my dad yanked it out of a barn, and Dad helped me get it home, and I spent a lot of time working on it, but I'm sad to say I actually never got it to run. Okay, the next part of this system is a glass clay. Okay, so this is to remove any contaminants that are actually bonded onto the glass. This comes in the kit, and it comes with the Glassworks clay lube. So you want to spray this onto the glass, Then you just want to take and put some right onto the clay, then just come down here and clay this. Now, the glass looks pretty clear, but I can actually feel this dragging. Okay, the more I rub it, it starts to glide effortlessly. And what that means is it's starting to pull off those contaminants and get them bonded onto that clay. Now, after you clay that section, come back and wipe off that residue. Then we get to the fun part. The fun part is we're going to take and machine polish this. That's going to take off all that film that kind of builds up, and then when the sun hits it, you know, you get that glare in the morning or in the evening when you're driving this thing around. Okay, so this is going to be the Glasswork Restore. Just going to take and put some right on here in my polisher. Okay. I'm going to spread this on here with my finger a little bit so it doesn't drip down on the paint. This over my shoulder. And all you just want to do is just take and make overlapping passes. And a lot of times you'll see this film on the glass, and as you're polishing, you'll see that film start to peel away. Okay, then never lift this off until you stop the machine so it doesn't throw splatter everywhere. Okay. Then of course we want to wipe off the Glassworks Restore. Get that all off there. And then the last product is the Glassworks Shield. What this is going to do is going to help repel rain and dirt so nothing will stick to it in the future. All we're going to do is just take this, bring this in here, shake it up really well, apply some of this, and then spread it around with the included glass towel that comes in the kit. Just like that. And we'll restore perfect optical clarity to Debbie's windshield on her Model T hot rod.
That looks absolutely beautiful. The only thing I can picture is driving out of here and getting a big bug right in the middle, but it'll come off easier, right?
Yeah, a lot easier, yeah, and into the future. Yep, no more glare, perfect vision.
Good job.
Well, this show's been a lot of fun. I've had 4 different celebrity guests, but that's the end of this show. We'll see you next time. Well, I did the this side. You want to do the next side?
Hand the stuff over.
Okay.
All products featured on today's program are available from Autogeek.net.